This
All
is the
right, so
commentary.
I think I'm gonna just tell my story. I'm gonna start it over from the beginning though, since I didn't record it before. The story's
Where
about
you going?
like a long time ago, like where I'm from. So for most of the people that don't know, I'm from Michigan, and I grew up in like a really like, not really a terrible neighborhood, but it was pretty fucked. Like the kids were,
The
and so
Brooklyn version.
yeah. And so like,
Ooh.
so what I was saying before we were started recording, we're just gonna 1v1 while I tell the story. So I'm probably gonna be doing shitty, but whatever. Uh, so anyway, the school that I went to at the time, I was about in fourth grade. Like it went from kindergarten to eighth grade. So like it ranged all the way up. So like we had hella diverse like kids there and shit. When I was little, like fighting in school was like a huge thing. Like that's how you like proved that you were the fucking shit. Like that's how you proved that you were about it. Like if you didn't fight, or if you didn't want to fight, or if you got beat up all the time, like you were considered like the weak link, and like people treated you poorly because of it. This group of sixth or seventh graders, they were like intermingled, so it was kind of like both. And they like started to mess a lot, and like I was pretty, I don't like to toot my own horn, but like at the time I was pretty popular because like most people knew me, because like we all like came from the same area, and so like it wasn't that hard to know who was who. So apparently this kid didn't like me. He wanted to fight me. Like nothing new. That happens all the time. You fought people you didn't like, even if you didn't really know them, and they just gave you a bad vibe. You'd fucking fight. Simple as that. So it was really weird, but like we're little kids. So like this is before like not, I'm not super old, but like this is before like camera phones, like filming fights was like a thing. Like nobody really filmed phones because like smartphones wasn't really a thing yet. They were still flip phones and shit like that. Like very few people had like iPhones and shit. And so
Especially in that grade.
yeah, it was like what, 6 years ago? Yeah. So anyway, so I go and they tell me to meet them at the field. There's like this field where like everybody at my school goes to recess, and there's like this fence in the playground area. There's like a plank that was broken, and like people would go. We'd sneak out and order pizza and shit, and then bring pizza back to recess, and we would eat pizza, and then we would go to lunch right after. So like it worked out pretty well, and so we meet into that. There's like an empty field in between our school, the pizza place, and like this neighborhood. And there's like this empty field. We'd play football and shit after school, or like baseball or whatever, like just whatever we felt like playing. And we would go around and we'd play. And this time he wanted to fight me there, and so I was like, all right, cool, whatever. And I didn't tell anybody that I was fighting. Like it wasn't really like an announced thing. It was just supposed to be like me and him, and like whoever won, we would go back and start bragging like shit if we chose to. And so, and I usually never bragged about winning a fight or whatever. I would just be like, yeah, I won it, whatever. And so we go and I meet him there, and I crawl through the fence, like the little hole in the fence, and he has like a group of like five guys with him, and two of them are like holding like these wooden planks that were like laying in the field. They were like wooden planks with like nails and shit in them, and like I guess they were left over from like someone like fixing up their house or whatever. Because keep in mind, it's like right next to a neighborhood, and like people live in like close proximity to the field. So I see these guys walking through, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what's this? Like, you said this was me versus you. You sitting here bringing goons in with planks and shit, ready to fucking squabble like Negan out this bitch. And so he goes up to me, he goes, what's up, bro? Like, you were talking all that shit before. And I was like, I wasn't. And he goes, well, now you say you're being smart now. And I'm like, yo, like, you came and told me you wanted to fight, dude. I didn't want to fight you, but I'm going to, because I'm not a bitch, though. You're not gonna call me out in front of the entire school and punk me out. Like, I'm not about getting punked. So I'm like, I'm still ready to fight. I'm like, all right, so then who's first? Like, because I've been jumped before. Like, I know how it works. I know how to survive it, or at least how to make yourself look tough during it. And so like I'm ready for everything at that point. Like I'm ready to get fucking beat. I'm ready to just get fucking like bloodied up, bruised nose, like black eyes and all the sort. And they all circle around me, and I tell them, I was like, hey, look, if you're gonna jump me, at least put the fucking planks down. Like I'm like, at least make it somewhat fair. Like it's already five of you. And so like fake thugs, they abide it, they go with it, and they're like, yeah, sure, we'll leave him to his little devices, whatever. And keep in mind, I'm in freaking 4th grade, dude. I'm like 7, 8 years old. And so they start, like, one of the guys like tries to tackle me. I move out of the way. I throw him into this other boy, and then one of them like stands still. He's closer to me, so I just stick him, and I start to move around so that they can't get closer to me. Like, I'm starting to like bob and weave, like my life depends on it, because it does in my mind. Like, I'm thinking I'm gonna fucking die right here. Like, I think this is the end of my life. And so I'm throwing hands, and then I get taken down to the ground by somebody. I don't know who does it. It's somebody behind me. And so they're starting to like kick me in my gut and shit. Like, I'm starting to get fucked up, which I knew was gonna happen, but I'm not gonna sit there and just let them, like, I'm not gonna let them punk me. So then they stop because they think I've had enough, and then I start to like get back up. Like, I start doing push-ups kind of, like, to like get myself back to a vertical base. And like as soon as I'm like halfway up to my knees, one of them runs in and like punts me, and like my ribs are fucking just terrible. Like, they're in horrible condition. And so I'm starting to get back up, and one of them goes like, "Oh, nigga, you haven't had enough yet?" And like the air is like, I'm like gasping for air and shit, because this dude just kicked me in my ribs and lungs and shit. And I'm like, and me, because I'm fucking retarded. I don't know what was going through my head when I said it, but I remember this day so vividly. Yeah, like, I'm fucking stupid. Like, I was like, "Is that all you got?" And it wasn't. And they started like punching me in my face and shit. Like, I'm surprised I didn't come home with like a busted lip and shit, because they were laying into me. Like, I after the fight, I came back home with like no black eye and none of that shit. It's like I was fine. I mean, I wasn't fine, but like I looked fine. And so like,
It was inner. It wasn't like.
Yeah, it was just, it was internal pain.
It wasn't visible. It was invisible. Let's just say.
Nah, it wasn't visible, exactly. And so so by the end of it, like one of my good friends just happened to be walking. It's like him and like another friend were like going to get some pizza or some shit, and they seen them just beating my ass. Like, they're just laying into me. Like, I'm getting fucked up. Like they're Conor McGregor and I'm Eddie Alvarez. Like, I'm getting fucked. And so they run in to stop it, but I tell them no. Like, I'm like coughing and like, no, I gotta do this. And they're like, "Nah, dude, you're fucking stupid. Don't even, it's not even worth it." And I was like, nah, I gotta do it. And so the two are like the two go and they beat up the other guys, like, because they're pretty old. They're 8th graders, and they're like they go to the gym and shit. They're on the football team, stuff like that. Like, and I'm the type of person like where I was a pretty scrawny kid, like, at a younger age, and so
Gamer at heart.
yeah, like I was just really like, well, I wasn't like a gamer back then, but like I was pretty skinny, pretty scrawny, and so like I made it so where I talked to the right people, so that like I would have help in the event of like some shit going down. It's like I made friends with the right people, and so whatever, they take out the other guys and they go like, "Hey, yo, this is a fair fight, 1-on-1." So me and that guy get to scrapping, and then like I'm already done in, dude. Like, I'm already fucked up. Like, even if it would have been a 1-on-1 from the beginning, it might have been a different story. But like, I'm like struggling to stand. I'm like Peter Parker in Spider-Man 2, and he just like Doc Ock uppercuts me, and I'm just done. Like, I'm like in that train scene where he's like telling the people to back off of him, and then he just get fucked. Like, that's me. And like, I'm done. And so they have to like drag me back into school. I go to the, like, they were gonna take me to the nurse, but I didn't want my parents to find out. So like, I told them like, "Nah, don't take me to the nurse, just take me to lunch. And we eat lunch in class. So like, we go and pick up our lunch from like the hallways, because they have like tables set up like Thanksgiving style, and we go back to class with all of our food, and we just watch movies and shit. Like, we watch like The Land Before Time and shit like that. So,
Ooh, that was a good play.
And so we go back to class, and they're like helping me the entire time. And the teacher asked me like, "What's wrong? What's wrong? Like what happened to you?" Because she can tell like I look like shit. And I'm like, "Oh, nothing, nothing." Yeah, yeah. Like my friends were like, "Nah, nothing's wrong. He just doesn't feel too well." And she was like, well, shouldn't you go to the nurse? And I was like, no, I'm fine. I just need to go lay down. I'm just gonna put my head down for lunch. And she goes, okay, that's fine. Do you want to eat anything? And I was like, yeah, I'll eat something. Don't worry about me. I'm fine.
Because back in the day, getting into a fight was like a felony. It was like, bro, you're committing the biggest crime in school.
Well, like, yeah, like where I'm from though, they take fighting super serious because of where I'm from.
Yeah, it's like the northern states at least here.
Yeah, like, cause fighting is like, getting into a fight at school is like the equivalent of like murdering someone in cold blood. Like, you don't do that. Like, it's something that's so frowned upon, and I don't understand why. Like, people have beef, people are gonna fight. Like, you can't stop people from fighting.
But yeah, that's something you're never gonna be able to get rid of.
Exactly. But so anyway, long story short, I go back to class, I put my head down or whatever, nobody finds out about it, and that kid's talking mad shit the next day, dude. Like yeah, like no, like he's talking shit, like he's hyping me up like I'm some badass. Like I mean, I've won my fair share of fights. Like I've won a handful, and I've lost a handful. Like from that school, from where I grew up, it's like you're never gonna win every fight. You're not gonna just beat everyone's ass. It's like you're gonna win a fight, somebody's gonna come up, they're gonna beat your ass, and it's like, all right, I'm not gonna fight you again. There was no such thing as a rematch. There was no.
It's like a big rock paper scissors game. It's
exactly. It's like a big game of.
Something.
It's like a soccer game. It's like a one-on-one soccer game. Everybody's gonna score, at least once. Everyone is. So it's like there's gonna be somebody
that counters you.
Yeah, you're never gonna be on top. And so, like, there was no such thing as rematches like there is now. Like, people don't go back and fight again. If you got your ass beat, you got your ass beat. You learn from it and you move on. And so, he's hyping it up, dude. And he's like, yeah, man, I beat his fucking ass, dude. Like, he was limping to class. And I'm like,
to a fourth grader, mind you, an 8th grader to a 4th grader.
I mean,
is like.
But I mean, back then, like, it didn't really matter what grade you were in because everyone knew how to fight. Like, everybody knew how to fight, so it would have been a fair fight regardless, just because everybody had hands where I'm from. Like, everybody has hands. If you don't have hands, you're not from there. And it was pretty apparent. You could tell who and who wasn't from there by the way that they fought. Like we would always like friendly slap boxing fights, but like we would never hit each other. We would just throw like hands and like have people weave them, like just for practice and shit. And you could tell that if like somebody got slapped. Yeah. And if like somebody got slapped, like nobody ever got slapped. So if you did, then you weren't from there. Plain and simple. Like you just weren't from there. Like people understood. Like, oh no, he's a young blood, dude. He's a new blood. Like he's not from here.
He's young, bro.
Yeah.
Smack right there.
And so anyway, so he's like talking shit, and then one of my friends is like, for the sake of like him keeping his privacy, because I still talk to him. I'ma just call him Kevin. So he hears him talking all this shit to like a group of girls and like a group of guys, like whatever, like to a big group. He's like hyping himself up. Females are feeling him and shit. And Kevin goes like, yeah. Kevin's like, dude, that's not at all what fucking happened, dude. He would have fucking slammed you if it was a one-on-one fight. You had your boy sitting there jumping his ass, and you were just standing in the foreground. And like
exposed.
Yeah, but nobody believed it because nobody was there. The only people that were there were his boys and Kevin and like my other friend. And so him and Kevin got into a fight. Long story short, Kevin beat his ass, exposed him because
those were the days when like you had your friends back, and if you didn't, you were fake. Like you were straight fake.
Like he had no reason to fight him whatsoever, but yet he still did. Like, and that's why like I thank God that I have people
David,
like that.
You talking about Kevin? Like Kevin,
No. This is in Michigan. This is in Michigan. I'm just calling him. I'm just calling him Kevin like for privacy purposes. Privacy? Yeah. So anyway, so he fucking exposes him. He beats him without even getting hit. Like he doesn't get hit once. Like it was disgusting. It was brutal. like, and only reason I wasn't even there to see it. The only reason why I found out about the fight was because they took me to DMC the next day because they found out about the fight because dude kept on talking shit. He basically snitched on himself and everyone else.
What a
So
guy.
so they took us all to DMC and they showed us like the camera footage of like outside the school and shit, and like, cause like when we go outside the fence, like there's a camera outside the school, obviously, and so when we go to get pizza and stuff, like as long as we come back, they don't really care, because like it's our money and it's like it's so close to the school, they could see us and stuff like that. So whatever, and so they had like they were gonna call our parents and shit, and I was fucking terrified because it's like yeah, I got into a fight before and like my parents were cool with it. They're like, as long as you don't lose or like whatever, or as long as you didn't start it or whatever. But at the same time, like, I also didn't want my parents getting involved in any way because I didn't want to be known as the mama's boy or like the daddy's boy
that's like what's it called?
whose parents had to come in.
There.
Yeah, like whose parents had to come in and like solve his problems for him. And so I told
in the northern states, if that happens,
that's a big thing. Yeah, that's a big deal. So I told them
if that happens.
So I told them like don't call my parents, please don't call my parents. And I was like, I'll never get into a fight again, I swear, whatever. And then like coincidentally we ended up moving to Texas like the next week or whatever. And like I didn't even know we were moving. Like I knew we were moving, but I didn't know that we were moving that soon. Cause like the way they told us that we wouldn't be there until like February or some shit. But we ended up leaving in December, like right before Christmas break. So like hell of a vacation, I guess. But anyway, like that's basically what happened. And like Kevin exposed the dude, and like dude didn't fuck with me anymore. Nobody fucked with me or Kevin after that, cause Kevin hyped me up like I was the badass, like I was gonna fuck him up anyway, and like then he fucking exposed him and beat the fuck out of him. So like it made us both look good. But then yeah, like that's basically what happened. Like if anybody wants to hear like more of my fight stories and shit, like I'm down to tell them, or like any fucked up stories from my childhood, cause I've been through some fuck shit. Like I've been through it all, dude. Like I've been to the hood and like people like try to like steal your shit, like your bike and shit. They try to jump us, and like it's
this boy went to Mexico and what's it called? Almost got shot point blank.
Yeah, dude. I don't think I should tell that story though. I don't.
Yeah, but then he still came strapped out.
Yeah.
How the tables have turned.
Yeah, dude. But like.
In time, though.
In time,
will probably
yeah.
get through his stories in time.
Yeah, I've told a few stories. You've seen them, haven't you?
Oh yeah, there was one about that peppermint nurse.
Yeah, I told that one. I told about like
Some
how
are pretty funny too.
I told about how our school almost got shut up last year, like.
And then dude, you guys really need to like just drop likes and show them support, because there are some funny stories.
Dude, yeah, like I have so much like shit to tell, but like I don't want, like I think I'm gonna just make like another channel, like specifically for stories, and like cause you know I write stories and shit, and like I tell them, and like I do all that type of stuff, but it doesn't fit into the category of like stuff that I'm trying to put out, because like this is supposed to be like a gaming channel primarily, but like if you look at my channel, there's like skits and shit and like short films and stuff. It's like I think I'm gonna just make like a like I think I'm gonna just make like another channel for like that stuff specifically, and like re-upload it all.
Nah,
and
what you should like legit do is just make another channel specifically for like exclusively for gaming, like gaming topics.
Yeah, like I'm down. But yeah, yeah, I'm down to do that. So that's the end of my video, I guess. If you guys enjoyed it, you want more, leave it like, oh, how convenient, the freaking match ended as soon as I end my video.
Yeah, I know.
That's lit.
It's rigged. It's rigged.
But anyway, yeah, leave a like, all that good shit, you know. Show your boys some support. I got some more hella good stories if you guys want to hear them. if you want to hear him, dude, like let me know, and I'll tell him. And me and what's your YouTube name again? Panda, Tactical Panda.
Tactical Panda.
Yeah, dude, me and Panda got some stories from us just in school, just the shit that we've been through together. So like, if you guys want to hear him, dude, like we could do a video on the difference between Michigan and Cali.
Just our bus alone.
Yeah, dude, we have so many lit stories. So if you guys want to hear them, let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, peace.